Hi guys, it is time for Rogue's Reads, and here is Rogue. I made him come see me to do his book club intro. He kind of wants to go back to his nap. Or actually, he would like me to just hold him and pet him. But I can't do that because I have to read. Yeah, this is your book club. Yep. You ever need a cat to hold? Let me know. You can come hold Rogue. Alright, so we actually have quite a bit of book left. This is Rogue's Reads. I'm Renee. I'm the children's librarian at Salem Public Library in Salem, Ohio. That was Rogue, my co-host for another day. We do only have today and tomorrow left for book club. I don't know if we can get through this all, and I want to, so I may do a bonus episode for anybody that's actually been watching these, so you can get the end of it. I just don't know if we're gonna have time to get all the way to the end in just 2 episodes. So I'm gonna start here, and guess what? It's Shredder Day! Finally! We finally got to Shredder Day. We've been waiting a long time to get here. So they were at the Coke Museum, the birthplace of Coke, with the drink fountain and all the stuff. And Coke went looking for the recipe, and just as he opened the authorized personnel only door, somebody yelled, "Grab him!" So we are on chapter 25, Things Go Better with Coke. 4 hands grabbed Coke. In seconds, his arms were tied tightly behind his back. He was pushed roughly into a chair and his legs were bound together. He struggled, but it was no use. He felt his heart beating fast in his chest. How stupid it was to open that door, Coke told himself. He should have listened to his sister. "It's about time we met," said the gruff voice in the dark. "My name is Evil Elvis." Oh, we knew he was coming back. The light flicked on, and there he was, just as Pep had described him, in a white jumpsuit with a rubber Elvis mask on his face, and he took a long swig from a half-empty bottle of Coca-Cola. "Help! Help!" Coke screamed. "Save your breath," Evil Elvis told him. "Nobody can hear you." The small room was empty except for a wooden desk and a small trash can. Coke was being held from behind by the men who had tied him up. "You!" Coke sputtered. "You scared my sister to death at the birthplace of Pepsi." "Yes," said Evil Elvis, chuckling. "That was so much fun. And now it's your turn, Coke, only this time it will be more than just scaring. How fitting it is for me to kill you right here at the World of Coke. Everything that goes around comes around." "What's that supposed to mean?" Coke just about spat out the words. "Let him go, boys," said Evil Elvis. Coke turned around to see 2 guys dressed in security officer uniforms. They looked like real security guys, except for one thing. They were wearing bowler hats. "The bowler dudes!" Coke hollered. "At your service," snickered the one with the mustache. "I thought you guys had changed," Coke said. "You told me you had stopped harming kids and now you were into jousting." The clean-shaven bowler dude snickered some more. "That's called lying," he said. "So now you 2 work for Evil Elvis?" "We work for whomever pays us," said the mustachioed bowler dude. "Whomever pays us." "Whoever," said Evil Elvis. "It's whoever pays us, you idiot." "Whatever." "How did you know I was going to come in here?" Coke asked. "Was it the GPS chip?" "That's how I knew you would come to Atlanta," said Evil Elvis. "Once you got here, I knew you wouldn't be able to resist opening a door that had a sign on it that specifically said not to open it." "That's the way you are, Coke. You can't resist challenging authority. You thought you'd find the secret formula to Coca-Cola in here. I know all about you. I'm in your head." Excuse me. Coke struggled against the ropes, but they were tight. He wished he had his backpack full of fireworks with him. "Why don't you take off that stupid mask?" Coke said. "Show me your real face." "You are not in a position to be telling anyone what to do," Evil Elvis correctly pointed out. He took a swig from his bottle and put it down on the desk. Then he pulled a little cigarette lighter out of his pocket and flicked it. He stared into the flame, mesmerized. "Isn't fire beautiful?" Evil Elvis asked. "Sure is, boss," both bowler dudes replied, snickering. "I wasn't asking you, morons." Coke recalled that his sister had mentioned something about Evil Elvis being a pyromaniac, but he thought it would be best not to encourage him in that direction. "What's the deal with those ciphers you've been sending us?" Coke asked. "Go to the living room. Go to the pool room. What's that supposed to mean?" "Oh, never mind my little messages," said Evil Elvis. "They would have been important if you hadn't come here. But I've got you now, so you can forget about all those rooms. You'll never need them. You're never going to leave this room. Well, at least not alive. Evil Elvis tilted his head back and drained the last few ounces from the bottle. Then he held the lighter next to the edge of the bottle, and the plastic started to smoke and melt. Coke looked up at the ceiling. There were no smoke detectors. Isn't it interesting how fire can destroy and also create? Evil Elvis continued. If I heat this bottle to a certain temperature with this flame, it will melt. Then I can mold it into just about anything. A child's toy, a tool, even another bottle. Evil Elvis was obviously crazy. Coke looked around desperately for a way out. There were 2 doors, the one he had entered and another one behind Evil Elvis. What are you going to do to me? Coke asked, stalling for time. Oh, I have big plans for you, young man, Evil Elvis said as he flicked off the lighter and tossed the melted bottle into the garbage. In fact, you're going to save the earth. Good one, boss, snickered the bowler dudes, but Evil Elvis ignored them. Coke, he said, do you realize that Americans go through 2.5 million plastic bottles every hour? What a terrible waste. Fortunately, a lot of those bottles get melted down and recycled. They're often made into roads, playground equipment, plastic lawn chairs, and tables. What does that any of that have to do with me? Coke shouted. Why don't you leave me and my sister alone? What do you have against us? I never did anything to you. Oh, yes, you did, Evil Elvis said, anger now in his voice. You most certainly did. Fellows, help our guest into the next room, won't you? Sure thing, boss. Evil Elvis opened the door behind him. The bowler dudes picked Coke up and carried him into the next room. There were 2 large machines in there, connected by a conveyor belt of some sort. Coke guessed this is where the Coca-Cola was bottled, but he didn't see any bottles anywhere. How did you get into this place? Coke demanded. Oh, let's just say I have connections. The bowler dudes carried Coke over to one of the machines, which was about the size of a refrigerator. The other machine, to the left, was even larger. It had an opening at the top like a funnel, and the raised conveyor belt went around the perimeter of the room and fed into that opening. Do you know what a 3D printer is, Coke? Asked Evil Elvis. A printer that prints in 3D? Oh, you're a smart one, Evil Elvis said sarcastically. No wonder you were selected to be in the Genius Files program. Good one, boss, said the bowler dudes. Using heat compression, a 3D printer can take empty soda bottles and spray the melted plastic through a tiny nozzle in successive layers to form a 3-dimensional object, said Evil Elvis. It uses a stepper motor and dual compact extruders. So what? Shouted Coke, struggling to get free. What does that have to do with me? The bowler dude snickered. Well, let me explain, Coke, Evil Elvis said calmly. We all agree that recycling is a good thing, right? When we discard something we don't want or need anymore, the right thing to do is to recycle it, so it can be made into something else. Well, I don't want or need you anymore, Coke, so I'm going to recycle you. You're insane. What, would you rather I just bury you in a landfill? Asked Evil Elvis. That wouldn't be very green of me, now would it? You'll never get away with this, Coke shouted. Security will burst through those doors any second. Hi guys, I'm back. Apparently my video shut off. That was weird. Nothing happened to it at all. I just simply quit recording. Alright, but I'm back. Okay. So this will be episode 38, part 2. Okay. The bowler dudes laughed. Wait, did I? Oh. You'll never get away with this, Coke shouted. Security will burst through those doors any second. The bowler dudes laughed. We are security, the clean-shaven one said. And we're already here, said the mustachioed one. Shut up, you idiots, shouted Evil Elvis. It was enough to say you are security. You didn't have to say you're already here. He knows you're here. Sorry, boss. Evil Elvis rubbed his forehead, then turned his attention back to Coke. I believe in freedom of choice, he said, almost in a kindly voice, so I'll let you choose. Would you rather be recycled into a children's toy or a piece of playground equipment? Or maybe you'd like to be turned into a nice lawn chair for people to sit on. With a 3D printer, you can be made into just about any object. You can't fool me, Coke said defiantly. That machine is a fake. Oh, it's the real thing, Coke. Good one, boss, said the bowler dudes. That was a Coke slogan, right? Shut up. If that thing uses melted plastic, Coke said, you can't just put a person in and mold him into some other shape. Of course not, said Evil Elvis. You can't take plastic bottles and put them directly in the 3D printer. First, they have to be shredded. See, I told you that eventually the story would involve Coke being thrown into a giant shredder. You didn't believe me. I don't know, we were starting to get a little nervous about that, right? Evil Elvis pointed to the even larger machine next to the 3D printer. He flipped the switch on its side and a whirring noise came out of it. It was vibrating and that raised conveyor belt began to move. There's a sensor at the top of the shredder that detects when something or someone has been inserted into the hopper, said Evil Elvis excitedly. That turns on a series of high-torque, hydraulically powered rollers which pull the object into the shredding chamber. This baby has a 900 horsepower Briggs & Stratton turbine engine in it, so once it grabs you, it doesn't let go. I don't want to hear it, Coke shouted. Why do you crazy people always feel the need to explain how you're going to kill somebody? Well, it's all part of the fun, Coke. Good one, boss. Shut up! Once inside the shredding chamber, Coke, your helpless body will encounter 2 sets of spinning serrated blades made of high-grade chromium steel, and they're set at an angle to cut one way and then the other. So they'll chop your body into 6,093 tiny, unrecognizable particles. It's called cross-cutting. Isn't technology wonderful? Thanks. You're insane. Coke, your mother drove all the way across the country to look at a frying pan, and I'm insane? Good one, boss. Leave my mother out of this, Coke shouted. Enough talk, Evil Elvis said. Hoist him up on the belt, boys. The bowler dudes each took one end of Coke's body and lifted him up on the conveyor belt, which went all the way around the room and ended directly in front of the shredder's gaping mouth. Stop! Coke shouted as he moved along the conveyor belt. Help! Oh, I'm going to miss you, Coke, said Evil Elvis. It has been so much fun toying with you and your sister. You're a lunatic, Coke screamed. His body was on the other side of the room now, turning the corner. You're worse than Dr. Warsaw. Thank you, said Evil Elvis. You couldn't have paid me a higher compliment. I'll do anything, Coke begged. Let me go. The die is cast, so to speak, said Evil Elvis excitedly. The shredder will cut your body into pieces about the size of a kernel of corn. Those pieces will get mixed in with all the other plastic, which gets melted and fed into the 3D printer, and then the printer will mold you into a lawn chair. I don't want to become a lawn chair. What's the matter? Don't you care about the environment? Asked Evil Elvis. Come on, things go better with Coke. Good one, boss. Coke was 3/4 of the way around the room now. In about 10 feet, he would drop into the shredder. Goodbye forever, Evil Elvis said with a wave of his hand. We must take our leave. I can't bear the sound of a child being shredded. Let's go, boys. The bowler dudes opened the door for Evil Elvis, and he skipped out jauntily singing, I'd like to teach the world to sing in perfect harmony. That's an old Coke ad song. Help! Help! The conveyor belt advanced agonizingly slowly while Coke fled around, trying desperately to free an arm or leg. When that didn't work, he tried to roll off the belt, even though success would mean falling 5 feet to the ground, possibly onto his head. Even that would be preferable to falling into the mouth of the shredder. The conveyor belt continued on its relentless progress toward its final destination. Coke had expended just about all the energy he had, with no results. It looked like it was all over. His head was less than 2 feet from the shredder when the door suddenly flew open. It was Pep. Coke, she shouted, what are you doing up here? Never mind that, Coke yelled, get me off. Pep grabbed the chair and pulled it over so she would have something to stand on, and then she grabbed Coke's shirt and tried to pull him off the conveyor belt. You're too heavy, she shouted. Coke's head was mere inches from the shredder when his sister gave one last desperate yank, ripping his shirt and sending him flying off the conveyor belt and landing onto the hard linoleum floor with a thud. Oof, he groaned when he hit the floor. Will you be careful? I almost broke my leg. What happened? Pep asked. I was worried about you, so I came back. I'll tell you later, he said. Get these ropes off me, and let's blow this pop stand. Pep untied the rope, and they ran down the steps to the first floor, not slowing down until they were safely out in the parking lot. Where were you? Dr. McDonald said when they got to the RV. We've been looking all over. I was learning about recycling, Coke said. What happened to your shirt, Coke? Asked his mother. It's ripped to pieces. I wish you'd be more careful with your clothes. Well, I'm glad you're back, Dr. McDonald said as he reached into the cooler on the floor next to him. Anybody want a Coke? No. We'll do a couple sections here. Chapter 26, Nature Lovers. As the RV pulled out of the parking lot, Coke and Pep sat in stunned silence. Wasn't that fun, kids? Mrs. McDonald rhapsodized. I had a fabulous time. Yeah, Pep said glumly. Fun. The world of Coca-Cola hadn't been that much fun for Coke, especially when he was nearly shredded into tiny pieces and recycled into lawn furniture. They got on I-75 heading north out of Atlanta and rode it for 58 long miles, and then took the exit for Route 140 West. As they were driving through Chattahoochee National Forest, up in the northwest corner of Georgia, the GPS suddenly stopped working. No signal, it said. Dr. McDonald had a pretty good sense of direction, and he enjoyed reading maps, but like most people, after he got a GPS, he became dependent on it. How are we going to find the campground now? He asked nobody in particular. I don't know where I'm going. It's getting dark. Don't worry, Ben, said Mrs. McDonald. We'll find the campground. I'll call them on the cell if we have to, and they'll direct us. This thing is a rip-off, Dr. McDonald said, giving the portable GPS a little slap with his hand. It's supposed to cover the entire continental United States. Coke and Pep, with problems of their own, hadn't been paying much attention. But when he heard the letters GPS, Coke looked up. Did you say the GPS isn't working? He asked. It's not getting a signal out here in the boonies, his father said. It thinks we're in Siberia or something, someplace. Dad is worried that we're lost, said Mrs. McDonald. We're not lost, shouted Dr. McDonald, who never considered himself lost. Being lost is a sign of weakness. Being lost isn't manly. Sometimes people get lost. Coke and Pep looked at each other. If the GPS in the car wasn't getting a signal, neither would the GPS chip that had been implanted in their scalps. That would mean evil Elvis wouldn't be able to find them, so they were safe. For a while, anyway. This is beautiful country out here, Pep noted, gazing at the trees passing by. Maybe we should stay here for a few days. Or the rest of our lives, added Coke. They continued on, with Dr. McDonald getting progressively more apprehensive as each mile went by. And then, just when the forest came to an end, Mrs. McDonald noticed a little street sign on the left. Sloppy Floyd Lake Road. Take a left here, Ben, she said just before they reached the intersection. She knew she was right, because 3 miles down the road, nestled in a picturesque little valley near Summersville, Georgia, was the campground where she had made a reservation for the night. James H. Sloppy Floyd State Park. This is the place, Mrs. McDonald said as she hopped out of the RV. Sloppy Floyd State Park, asked Pep. What's up with that? He was a Georgia politician, Coke inexplicably remembered from an article he had read in Newsweek. He served in the Georgia House of Representatives from 1953 to 1974. You have no right to know that, Pep shouted. Nobody should know that kind of stuff. I thought everybody knew that, Coke replied. Dr. McDonald found the registration office and parked the RV. It was getting late and everyone was tired, so the McDonalds just had a quick snack instead of dinner and got ready for bed. Knowing they were out of GPS range, Coke and Pep were able to sleep easy. There would be no middle-of-the-night visitors wearing Elvis masks or bowler hats, no secret messages to decode, no traps or large objects falling on top of them from high places. They can't find us here, Coke said to his sister, just before dropping off to sleep. And I'm going to stop there for today. Yeah, we've got too much to finish tomorrow. So I'll do a couple bonus episodes just so we can finish the book, if anybody actually is watching. If you are, say something to me in the comments so I know you're here. So this is book 3 in this series. There are 2 more. I'm actually really looking forward to reading them and finding out what happens. So if nothing else, I got turned on to a really fun new series. So I will see you guys tomorrow. Have a wonderful evening. It's clouding up now, but it was nice and sunny earlier, so hopefully you got some sunshine. And I'll see you tomorrow. Thanks. Bye.